Today's video is sponsored by UASupporter.com. Show your support for Ukraine by repping some gear. They have clothing, tech stuff, bags, hats, mugs, flags, and more. My personal favorite is the Green Trident t-shirt Zelensky wears. Use my links in the description at the end and get 10% off with free shipping on your order from UASupporter.com. Hello everyone, this is THESILENCER and happy Saturday. I just wanted to give a quick intel update on what's going on in the Ukraine war. YouTube has one of my videos that was supposed to be released today being held up as per norm. So I figured I'd get you guys an update out and we'll take it from there. So without further ado, let's get started. Russian sources claim that Ukrainian forces continue to conduct counteroffensive operations in the directions of Svator and Kremina in the Luhansk region, and Russian forces conducted offensive operations to constrain Ukrainian forces. Russian forces continued defensive operations along the Dnipro River, while Ukrainian forces continued their interdiction campaign. Russian forces continue to conduct ground assaults near Bakhmut and Donetsk city in Donetsk. Russian forces continued mobilization efforts and advertising for volunteer battalions while struggling with low morale. Citing the war zone, Michael Kaufman, director of Russian studies at the CNA think tank, just came back from Ukraine and offered his observations that included: Russia's military appears at its most vulnerable going into this winter, but Ukraine has seen some modest impact from the Russian mobilization, he said in a tweet thread on Thursday. Troops are being deployed to try to stabilize Russian lines and increase force density relative to the terrain. The situation in Kherson is clear as mud. Russian forces seem to withdraw from some points, evacuate and draw down, but also reinforce with mobilized personnel. The fighting there is difficult. Despite constrained supply, Russian forces do not appear to be out of ammo. The preponderance of evidence points to a Russian decision to steadily retreat from the right riverbank and avoid being cut off there, while also trying to exact a high cost on the Ukrainians. Strikes across Ukraine are leading to blackouts and electricity conservation. Ukraine is resolving these blackouts quickly, and if anything, the bombardment campaign bolsters resolve. But over time, the challenges from these strikes could mount, straining equipment and air defenses and ammo. Concerned about the small but still worrisome potential of an attack from Belarus, Ukraine officials continue to monitor the situation in its northern border with Russia's client state. Thursday, Belarus opposition leader warned President Alexander Lukashenko that attacking Ukraine would be political suicide. Lukashenko, heavily backed by Russia, is on somewhat of shaky ground already, something that has factored into his reluctance despite intense Putin pressure to keep his troops home. Russia on Thursday summoned the British ambassador in Moscow, warning London of dangerous consequences after accusing Britain of helping Kiev carry out a massive boat and aerial drone attack on Moscow's Black Sea Fleet and occupied Crimea last week. Such confrontational actions of the English carry a threat of escalation of the situation and could lead to unpredictable and dangerous consequences, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement. In addition to this, Russia last week also accused the UK of being implicit in explosions on the Nord Stream pipelines in September. The UK Ministry of Defense said there are false claims on an epic scale. Speaking of dubious claims, after on-site inspections in Ukraine, the International Atomic Energy Agency on Thursday denied Russian accusations made with no proof that Ukraine was planning to develop a dirty bomb. A dirty bomb is a device with a conventional explosion designed to distribute radioactive materials. Over the past few days, the inspectors were able to carry out all activities that the IAEA had planned to conduct and were given unfettered access to the locations, according to an IAEA media release. Based on the evaluation of the results available to date and the information provided by Ukraine, the agency did not find any indications of undeclared nuclear activities and materials at the location. Meanwhile, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is Europe's largest, is in full blackout mode after Russia shelling on November 2nd, according to the Kiev Independent. Though Russia continues to launch missile and drone strikes on civilian targets, Ukraine is starting to rebuild what has been destroyed, like the bridge connecting Kiev and Zhytomyr. And speaking of bridges, the Russians claim repair work on the Kerch Bridge, which is Vladimir Putin's prized $4 billion span linking Crimea with Russia and severely damaged in an attack earlier this month, is proceeding as planned. Installation of the new superstructure of the Crimea Bridge will begin on November 5th, Marat Kusavillin, Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, told Putin on Thursday. While Ukraine has shied away from officially taking credit for the Kerch Bridge attack, it is happy to take credit for decimating Russia's aviation fleet. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Valery Zukhality, claims that Ukraine has destroyed twice as many aircraft since February 24th than Russia lost during its 10-year war in Afghanistan. There was also another prisoner exchange today in Ukraine, with Russia receiving 107 POWs and Ukraine receiving the same amount. Putin's mobilization of hundreds of thousands of reservists continues to not go so well, according to a frank but unconfirmed report. These soldiers sent to the heavy fighting in the Luhansk city of Svador find themselves in what seems to be a common situation. They have no training, no ammunition, and commanders who abandon them, according to reports. All right, and that's going to do it from the Intel update on the Ukraine war for Saturday, November 5th, 2022. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Saturday. The silencer is now silent.